Imagine swimming in crystal clear tropical waters off the coast of Australia. You're surrounded by beauty, turquoise waves, soft sand, and coral reefs teeming with life. Then suddenly, you feel nothing. Just a faint, almost imperceptible sting, a thread-like flicker across your skin. You shrug it off, but within 20 minutes, your body turns into a torture chamber. That's the calling card of the Irukandji jellyfish, a creature so small it's almost invisible, measuring just 1 to 2 centimeters across, but so toxic its venom can send a healthy adult into cardiac arrest. This species, part of the box jellyfish family, was virtually unknown to science until the 1950s. Today, it's infamous among marine biologists, lifeguards, and survivors of what's now called Irukandji syndrome. Unlike larger box jellyfish, Irukandji have tentacles stretching up to a meter long, loaded with thousands of microscopic stingers that pierce your skin and inject venom in fractions of a second. And the worst part, you often don't realize you've touched one until it's too late. Touching an Irukandji doesn't cause a burning pain right away. Instead, it starts a chemical cascade inside your body. The venom targets the nervous system and floods your bloodstream with stress hormones like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and serotonin, amplified to near lethal levels. Victims describe it as the worst pain imaginable. Symptoms include explosive vomiting, profound muscle cramps and spasms, a crushing sense of impending doom, so severe it's considered a hallmark symptom, high blood pressure, excessive sweating, difficulty breathing, seizures, and heart failure. Doctors have noted that patients often beg to be put into a coma, or even to be euthanized, and this is from a creature you could mistake for a bubble. No antivenom exists. Treatment is purely supportive. IV fluids, painkillers, and purely time. What makes the Irukandji so sinister is that it lurks in areas popular with beachgoers, shallow, warm, tropical waters of northern Australia, Southeast Asia, and even parts of Hawaii. You could be snorkeling, paddleboarding, or just waiting and brush up against a drifting tentacle you can't even see. Even wearing a wetsuit doesn't guarantee protection. The tentacles are long, fine, and can wrap around exposed skin in an instant. Lifeguards in Queensland post stinger season warnings and sometimes close beaches entirely during bloom periods. But the jellyfish are so tiny that netted swimming areas can't always keep them out. This is not a creature you can see and avoid. It's one you accidentally discover too late. Scientists are still unlocking the secrets of Irukandji venom and why it produces such extreme physiological responses. What's known is that the venom structure is chemically unique, an evolutionary weapon designed not for self-defense but for efficient predation. Irukandji feed on small fish, and their venom is optimized to paralyze prey almost instantly. But when that same venom hits a 70-kilogram human, it overloads our system like a short circuit in an overclocked machine. Survivors often need weeks to fully recover. With lingering nerve pain and muscle weakness, psychological trauma is also common. So the next time you take a tropical dip and think about reaching out to touch that floating sea angel, remember, you might be stroking the deadliest ghost in the sea. Now imagine you're deep in the lush, humid rainforest of Central or South America. Mist clings to every leaf, birds scream from the treetops, and vibrant flashes of color dart among the underbrush. Then you see it, tiny, delicate, and dazzling. A frog no larger than your thumb, its skin a gleaming coat of electric blue, fiery orange, or sunburst yellow. It almost looks painted. Your instinct might be to crouch down, maybe to pick it up for a better look. Don't. That beautiful skin is a murder weapon. This is a poisoned dart frog, and its vibrant colors are not for decoration. They are a neon scream. Don't touch me, I will kill you. The brilliant hues are a textbook case of aposematism, a biological warning to predators that this animal is not safe to eat or touch or even brush against. Some of these frogs, like the golden poison dart frog, produce enough batrachotoxin in their skin to kill 10 to 20 humans or 2 elephants, and there is no antidote. Their poison isn't injected, it isn't sprayed, it simply rests on the surface of their skin, waiting. All it takes is a touch. The danger with poison dart frogs isn't a dramatic bite or sting. They don't need fangs or stingers, their skin is their weapon. When you touch a highly toxic species like Philobates terribilis, batrachotoxin molecules transfer to your skin, entering through tiny cuts, abrasions, or mucous membranes like your eyes, nose, or mouth. Once inside the body, the toxin blocks sodium ion channels, the tiny gates that allow electrical signals to travel along nerves and muscles. This leads to paralysis, then cardiac arrest, and death. Symptoms include tingling or burning skin, loss of muscle control, severe drop in blood pressure, seizures, irregular heartbeat, respiratory paralysis. The toxic works quickly. Victims who ingest it or absorb a large enough dose can die within minutes. There is no effective treatment beyond life support, and even that may not be enough. Even more terrifying, scientists have never been able to synthesize the toxin in the lab. We still don't fully understand how it works at the molecular level, only that it does, and is fatal. The name poison dart frog isn't just a nickname. It's literal history. For centuries, indigenous peoples of Colombia and surrounding regions have used these frogs to make deadly weapons. They would gently collect the frogs, being careful not to touch them directly, and then rub the tips of their hunting darts or arrows along the frog's back, coating them in batrachotoxin. The darts were then used in blowguns to bring down monkeys, birds, or other prey. The toxin didn't just kill, it killed silently, allowing hunters to retrieve animals that didn't flee far after being hit. Interestingly, not all poison dart frogs are toxic in captivity. In fact, when bred in zoos, they're completely harmless. That's because the frogs don't manufacture the toxin themselves. They derive it from their diet: tiny ants, mites, and other invertebrates rich in specific alkaloids. Take away the diet, take away the poison. But in the wild, they're walking chemical weapons. Though poison dart frogs don't go out of their way to harm humans, there are still real-world risks. Wildlife smugglers, exotic pet traders, and even untrained herpetology enthusiasts have come into contact with these animals, some with tragic consequences. There have been documented cases of temporary paralysis in people who have handled wild frogs without gloves, even severe allergic reactions from skin contact, contamination of other animals through shared containers, and even accidental exposure of children in homes with poorly secured terrariums. It's worth noting again, the golden poison dart frog can carry up to 1 milligram of batrachotoxin, and it only takes 200 micrograms to kill a human. That means a single frog could accidentally kill someone who didn't even pick it up, just someone who touched a leaf it had recently walked across. And since the toxin remains potent for days, even handling a deceased frog can be dangerous. So when you see these stunning amphibians in a nature documentary, or even behind glass at a zoo, appreciate their beauty, but never reach for one in the wild. They are not pets, they are not playthings, they are death wrapped in color. Big, round eyes, a tiny button nose, gentle, deliberate movements. If you didn't know better, you might assume the slow loris is one of the cutest, most harmless animals on Earth. In fact, many people do. Viral videos have shown slow lorises being tickled, fed rice balls, or holding tiny umbrellas. But behind that wide-eyed stare is something truly shocking. This creature is venomous. Not metaphorically, not just mean when provoked. It has a biological weapon, and is the only known venomous primate on Earth. The slow loris, found in Southeast Asia's tropical forests, uses its venom in ways that have baffled scientists and fooled countless humans into making a deadly mistake: touching it. Slow lorises have a bizarre and unique venom delivery system. It begins not in their mouths, but in their elbows. Yes, elbows. Specialized glands in their upper arms secrete a toxin. When threatened or agitated, the loris raises its arms to its head and licks or rubs the gland, mixing the secretion with its saliva. Then it bites. That bite, now laced with venom, can trigger intense allergic reactions in humans, including anaphylactic shock, swelling, and necrotic wounds that refuse to heal. But you don't need to be bitten to be harmed. Petting or handling a loris when it's defensive or when it's just groomed itself can transfer venom-laced saliva or secretions to your skin. If you have even the smallest cut or touch your eyes or mouth afterward, the toxin can enter your system. Symptoms of exposure include severe pain and swelling at the site, fever and chills, difficulty breathing, blackened tissue and infection, permanent scarring, and in extreme cases, death from anaphylaxis. It's one of the most deceptive defenses in the animal kingdom, a cuddly mammal that turns into a biochemical hazard. Part of the problem is that slow lorises don't look threatening, and unlike snakes or scorpions, they don't strike quickly or hiss or posture. When threatened, they may freeze or lift their arms slowly, which many people misinterpret as a request for a hug or a stretch for a tickle. In reality, this is a venom preparation pose. It's gathering its chemical weapon. That false sense of security leads to frequent, painful encounters, especially among locals who try to catch them, tourists who try to touch them, or people involved in the illegal pet trade. Many bites don't initially seem serious. They may only be minor redness or swelling, but over hours or days, that wound worsens, turning deep purple then black. Some become necrotic, requiring hospitalization. Others become dangerously infected. In one case, a zookeeper in the UK suffered a severe allergic reaction after a bite, requiring emergency intervention. Others have had long-term nerve damage or disfigurement. The venom is still being studied, but researchers believe it contains a complex protein cocktail, possibly mimicking allergens from cat dander or other irritants. Combined with bacteria from the loris's mouth, it creates a dual attack, venom plus infection. And again, there is no antidote. There is nowhere more dangerous than touching a slow loris than in the exotic pet trade. Slow lorises are often captured from the wild and sold as pets in markets across Asia. Videos online show them cuddled cuddled or bottle-fed, giving the illusion they're happy, docile animals. But this is a cruel illusion. To prevent the animals from biting their captors, black market traders often cut or remove their teeth, a brutal and inhumane practice that leads to infection, starvation, and death in captivity. Those that survive live in chronic pain and distress, unable to defend themselves or feed properly. Even toothless, they're still dangerous. Their venom is still present on their fur and saliva, and touching them still poses a serious health risk. Many new pet owners are completely unaware. They hold their new loris, they post pictures, and days later, they're hospitalized with a festering wound or struggling to breathe. Others simply abandon the animal, afraid, ashamed, or unwilling to pay the medical bills. And all of this stems from a single misunderstanding, mistaking cuteness for safety. Why would a slow, tree-dwelling animal evolve venom? Scientists have debated this for years. Theories range from defense against predators like snakes or civets to interspecies conflict, where lorises fight one another for mates and territory. Their venom may give them an edge in these brutal nighttime battles. Still, many questions remain unanswered. The exact chemical structure of the venom is still being deciphered. Its full effects on the human nervous and immune systems remain mysterious. But what is not mysterious is this: you should never, ever touch a slow loris. Not in the wild, not in a market, not in a sanctuary, not in a cute video where it's holding a banana. Respect the venom, respect the animal. And remember, the most dangerous things in nature often come in the most adorable packages. On a warm, sunlit beach somewhere in the Indo-Pacific, a child picks up a seashell. It's smooth, marbled with elegant geometric patterns, amber browns and creamy whites spiraling inward like a work of art. It's small, perhaps 2 inches long, and motionless. But inside that shell waits one of the most dangerous animals in the ocean, the cone snail. While they look like ordinary sea snails, cone snails are marine predators armed with a venomous harpoon so fast it can strike in less than 250 milliseconds, faster than the blink of an eye. And the venom they deliver is not just painful, it's designed to kill. One sting can paralyze your entire body. One sting can shut down your nervous system. One sting can be fatal. There is no anti-venom, no reversal, just time, and if you're lucky, a respirator. There are over 800 species of cone snails, but the most dangerous belong to the Conus geographus group, nicknamed the cigarette snail, because after a sting, you only have enough time to smoke 1 cigarette before you die. Cone snails are slow, methodical hunters, but evolution has granted them a way to make up for that, an extraordinary weapon hidden in their mouths. Tucked inside their proboscis is a hollow needle-like tooth, which they can fire like a harpoon. That tooth, actually a modified radula, is barbed, venom-coated, and connected to a venom gland that contains a chemical cocktail of over 200 different toxins, tailored to immobilize prey instantly. When the snail detects a nearby fish, worm, or small mollusk, it extends its proboscis, lines up its shot, and fires. The harpoon sinks into the target and injects venom that disrupts its ion channels, microscopic gatekeepers that regulate nerve and muscle signals. Within seconds, the prey is paralyzed. Some cone snails go further. They swallow the victim whole, alive but immobilized. Now imagine that mechanism turned on a human hand. All it takes is one touch. A curious beachcomber picking up the wrong shell, a diver brushing against a rock, a fisherman stepping into the shallows barefoot. The snail doesn't even have to feel provoked. It can sting instantly and reflexively, even after death. The effects of a cone snail's sting vary depending on the species and the amount of venom injected. But the most dangerous, like Conus geographus, don't mess around. Stings are often painless at first. Victims typically report feeling a pinprick or a mild sting, nothing serious. But over the next few minutes to hours, symptoms begin to build. Numbness and tingling at the site of the sting, swelling and redness spreading across the limb, muscle weakness and inability to move the affected area, difficulty speaking or swallowing, double vision or blurred sight, respiratory paralysis where the lungs stop functioning, and cardiac failure. The venom blocks sodium, potassium, and calcium channels in nerves, effectively silencing the electrical signals that keep your body functioning. If the diaphragm, the muscle responsible for breathing, is paralyzed, the person suffocates unless placed on mechanical ventilation. And here's the terrifying part. There is no known cure. Hospitals can only provide supportive care, intubation, sedation, and prayer. Some victims survive, others do not. Deaths have occurred in the Philippines, Australia, and even in aquarium hobbyist circles. Even small cone snails, just an inch or 2 long, are capable of delivering a lethal dose. One of the most alarming facts about cone snails is this: Their venom delivery system can remain functional after death. That means picking up a dead snail, or one that appears dead, can still result in a sting. The harpoon mechanism is not controlled entirely by voluntary motion. It's partly reflexive. The muscular contractions required to fire the radula tooth can be triggered post-mortem. This is why handling dead cone snails is still risky. In 2004, a shell collector in Queensland, Australia, was stung by a cone snail he thought was long dead. He required emergency treatment and spent days in recovery. Others have not been so lucky. Aquarium enthusiasts and collectors are especially vulnerable. Cone snails are sometimes sold as ornamental specimens. If one is alive or improperly handled during transport, the risk becomes real. Even experienced divers can misjudge them. Unlike brightly colored poison dart frogs or menacing jellyfish, cone snails appear harmless, decorative even. The deception is exactly what makes them lethal. Here's where nature delivers its strange twist. The very venom that kills can also heal. Cone snail venom is currently the subject of groundbreaking pharmaceutical research. Scientists have isolated specific peptides called toxins that precisely target nerve channels. These molecules are being used to develop non-opioid painkillers, treatments for epilepsy, heart rhythm stabilizers, and potential treatments for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. One such drug, ziconotide, derived from the venom of Conus magus, is already in clinical use to manage severe chronic pain. It's 1,000 times more potent than morphine, but without the addictive side effects. This is the paradox of the cone snail. It's both a killer and a healer, a marine nightmare and a medical miracle. But the risks remain. Until science fully harnesses these toxins, they remain one of nature's most dangerous gifts. If you see a cone snail in the wild, do not touch it. Do not pick it up. Do not flip it over. Do not try to handle it, even with gloves or tongs. Even empty shells could be approached cautiously, as tiny cone snails can retreat deep inside and remain unseen. If you're stung, seek emergency help immediately. Stay calm and limit movement. Immobilize the affected area below heart level. Monitor for signs of respiratory distress, and request intensive care even if the pain seems minor. Cone snails don't bluff. They don't scare. They don't warn. They just kill, quietly, elegantly, and efficiently. The tide pools of the Indo-Pacific are filled with wonders: colorful corals, scampering crabs, and darting fish. Among these treasures, one creature sits quietly on a rock, no larger than a golf ball. It looks delicate, almost cartoonish, with soft skin and short arms. As you approach, it doesn't flee, it doesn't ink, it just sits there, calm, almost inviting. Then, as your hand reaches out, the animal changes. Blue rings, vibrant, flashing and electric, erupt across its body, pulsing like a neon alarm. You've just met the blue-ringed octopus, and if you touch it, there's a very real chance you won't survive. Despite its tiny size and unassuming nature, the blue-ringed octopus is one of the most venomous creatures on Earth. It carries a toxin so potent that one individual could kill 20 to 30 humans within minutes, and there is no known anti-venom. This isn't an exaggeration. This is the terrifying reality of nature's most deceptively beautiful assassin. What makes the blue-ringed octopus so terrifying is how easy it is to misjudge. They're incredibly small, about 5 to 8 centimeters when fully extended, and typically stay hidden during the day, tucked into crevices, shells, or under rocks. But if disturbed, say, by a curious hand reaching into the tide pool, you may bite, and that's where the true horror begins. The blue-ringed octopus delivers its venom through its beak, which is sharp enough to pierce human skin. Its bite is often painless or barely noticeable, more like a pinprick. Many victims don't even realize they've been bitten till it's too late. Because the toxin at work is tetrodotoxin, the same deadly compound found in pufferfish, it's 1,200 times more toxic than cyanide. Here's what happens after a bite. First 5 to 10 minutes, numbness in the bite area, a strange sensation, perhaps a tingle in the fingers or lips. The first 10 to 20 minutes, muscle weakness begins. The face droops, the eyelids become heavy, and speech slurs. 20 to 30 minutes, whole body paralysis sets in. You lose the ability to speak, move, or even blink. In the last 30 to 60 minutes, you can't breathe. The diaphragm is paralyzed, your heart may continue beating, but you are trapped in your own body, fully conscious, unable to scream for help. It's called locked-in syndrome, and it is one of the most terrifying states a human being can experience. Unless artificial respiration is applied immediately, you will suffocate. Tetrodotoxin works by blocking sodium ion channels in the nervous system. When these channels are blocked, nerve signals cannot be transmitted, muscles can't contract. That includes the most vital ones, the lungs, the heart, and the throat. And unlike other toxins, there is no antidote. The only treatment is mechanical ventilation and time. If a person can be kept alive, breathing with a ventilator, for 12 to 24 hours, the toxin will eventually be metabolized and excreted. Survivors have reported being fully aware during the entire event, able to hear voices, feel touch, and understand what was happening, but unable to respond in any way. It's an experience compared to being buried alive in your own body. And all of this can happen from a bite you didn't feel, from an animal you thought was a toy. The blue-ringed octopus doesn't always flash its warning rings. Most of the time, it appears beige, brown, or slightly yellow, blending into the sand and rocks around it. Many people have mistaken them for harmless juvenile octopuses. Children have picked them up, tourists have photographed them from inches away, some have even placed them on their hands or arms, marveling at their delicate suckers, completely unaware of the danger. In 2020, a viral video showed a TikTok influencer handling a blue-ringed octopus in Bali. The women laughed and posed for the camera. She had no idea that at any moment the animal could have bitten her and ended her life before the next post went live. She got lucky. Others haven't. Blue-ringed octopus species including Apoloclena lunulata, maculosa, and fasciata are found across Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Japan. They favor shallow waters and tide pools, places people frequently explore barefoot or with their hands. They are not aggressive, but they are not forgiving. If stepped on, grabbed, or cornered, they will bite. They can bite through gloves, wetsuits, or even fishing gear. They do not bluff. Their rings are not for show. When they flash, it means they're preparing for the worst, and so should you. One of the most chilling aspects of the blue-ringed octopus is how easily it evades notice. They don't need size or speed. They rely on camouflage, surprise, and biochemistry. Their entire strategy is based on deception, and that deception works. The fact that you can die from an animal the size of a golf ball without seeing it, hearing it, or even feeling it makes the blue-ringed octopus perhaps the most dangerous animal you'll never see coming. And yet, like the cone snail, its toxin is also being studied by researchers. Tetrodotoxin may hold the keys to new anesthetics, neuroprotective drugs, and even treatments for chronic pain, but we're still far from safely harnessing the power. For now, it remains what nature made it, a living paradox. Delicate yet deadly, beautiful but brutal, a creature that sits silently in the tide, asking only one thing: don't touch me. The natural world is full of incredible creatures, many more dangerous than they appear. And the 5 animals we've explored today all share one terrifying trait: they're easy to underestimate. They don't roar, They don't chase you down. They don't wear a warning label on their back. They wait. They deceive. They deliver death with a whisper. So remember, when you're exploring the wild, whether it's reef, rainforest, or desert, don't judge by appearance. Don't assume that small means safe, or that beautiful means harmless, because the worst mistake you can make is touching the wrong animal.